I'll start with myself. My name is Tamara Hegan. I am a SharePoint and M365 project manager and business analyst here at Spot Solutions. And we work with a wide variety of clients in order to implement and develop M365 solutions and help people realize the benefit of this amazing system. So I'll pass that over to John to introduce himself, and then Rafe.
Hey everyone, I really appreciate you taking the time to join. I know after a long weekend, it always takes a bit to kind of get back into swing of things. Hopefully you've done that last day or so. My name is Johnny Wanis. I'm the Director of Sales here at Spot Solutions. I've been lucky enough to be involved with the company for over 6 years now. From a SharePoint M365 perspective, definitely been helping Spot Solutions continue to grow that. I know from a company perspective, we've been around for 20 plus years working with SharePoint before it was called SharePoint. So we are very knowledgeable. We have a great staff here, a great group. I'm excited to be part of this webinar. And as we move forward, if you have any questions a little bit later on, please feel to reach out to me. Welcome.
All right. And Arash.
Yes. This is Arash Awajani. I'm SharePoint and Power Platform developer at Spot Solutions. So it's been 15 years that I involved in the SharePoint community.
So Arash is going to provide you guys with a technical deep dive into the SharePoint and M365 journey. And I'm just going to introduce our last team member here, Rafe.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the webinar. My name is Rafe Ali, and I'm a SharePoint developer and a Power Platform developer at Spot Solutions.
Okay. Thank you, Rafe. So Arash is going to lead our group today, starting him and Rafe will be going back and forth and sharing with you some presentations and information to help you deep dive into the implementation of the M365 environment. So go ahead, Arash.
And actually, Arash, right before you get going to it, and everyone who's attending, I know you're going to might have some questions as you move forward. Definitely take advantage of the Q&A option and the teams here. We'll keep an eye on that as we go. So if you want to, don't feel like you need to wait, to the very end to pop some questions in there. We can address that as we go to keep things going. So go ahead, Arash.
Sorry, I have an issue here. Let me fix the issue here right now. Sorry. Okay.
You need to share your other screen, Arash. You're sharing the wrong screen.
Okay.
So just to give everybody a little bit of a sense of what our presentation will take today, Arash is ready. We've done our introductions. Go ahead, Arash.
Yeah. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so as you may know, and you may participated in our previous webinars, we talked about the Microsoft 365 Step to Success. We talked about the adoption, the Microsoft 365 adoption, how you can create champions for your adoption journey for Microsoft 365. The second one was the roadmap, how you can build a roadmap for implementing Microsoft 365. We talked about 5 principles: the planning, assessment, deep dive, deliverable, and execution. And we talked about the details of each principles in the previous webinar. Today, we will talk about the deployment and how you can start implementing and deploying the Microsoft 365 for organization, how you can move to the modern workplace and using the Microsoft Enterprise solution. So first, let me briefly introduce Microsoft 365. Microsoft 365 is the new name of name for Microsoft Office 365 and is a subscription-based evolution of Microsoft Office, featuring familiar programs like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, but with additional tools, including but not limited to SharePoint, Teams, Yammer, and so many tools that you can see in the picture. M365 include various products that will help the organization in different areas. Each areas, as you can see in the picture, contains several products. For example, in the user office collaboration, we have the Word, Excel, Microsoft Office tools such as PowerPoint, OneDrive, Outlook, and in the area of the employee data and discovery, there are Booking, Delve, and My Analytics products here. In the Power Platform, it's a new section and area of the development of forms and workflows in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. So we have Power Automate, Power Virtual Agent, Power Apps, Power BI, and recently Microsoft introduced the Power Page for creating website and a web portal for the organization. So for the collaboration, there are SharePoint, List, Forms, Stream, Yammer, Teams, and the Whiteboard. So we will demo each of these products today, and we will have a short introduction today and demo for each product. In the CRM and ERP scope, we have Dynamics 365, and for the task management and project works, there are planners, to-do, and project products, and there are great products here, and we have so many useful products inside the Microsoft 365. So actually, Microsoft 365 is part of Microsoft Modern Workplace program. So with Microsoft Modern Workplace solution, you can improve employee productivity and satisfaction. And create more seamless communication and collaboration across location and platform while maintaining the security and integrity of systems and data in your organization. So let's take a look at Microsoft 365 deployment and what Microsoft offer for deployment. And there are 3 ways that's offered by Microsoft for the deployment of Microsoft 365. So Microsoft 365 Enterprise is the integrated combination of Office 365 Enterprise, Windows 10 Enterprise, and Enterprise Mobility plus security. So its goal is to help you realize the modern workplace in which you can enjoy a secure and highly reliable environment for exchanging idea, having conversation, collaboration, and doing your best work. So deploying these products in an integrated way to maximize the security and productivity benefits can be a challenge, especially when you are not a subject matter expert in all of them. So suppose that you are not a subject matter expert to deploy the Microsoft 365. So Microsoft offer 3 ways to plan and deploy the products, feature, and component of Microsoft 365 Enterprise. So here, the first one is the fast track. With fast track, Microsoft engineers help you move to the cloud at your own. So there are some limitation how you can for engaging to the fast track program and service. So I will talk about the detail in the next slide. So the second one is the Microsoft partners. Microsoft recommended that you can also engage with the Microsoft partners in the Microsoft 365 implementation area and the modern workplace partners. So partners can analyze your current infrastructure and help you develop a plan to incorporate all the software and service of Microsoft 365 for enterprise. So the third one is DIY, do it yourself. So it's up to you. You can start with the networking roadmap to build out or verify your existing infrastructure productivity workload. So you need to hire some consultants. So you need to set up your internal teams for to deploy the Microsoft 365 by yourself. So next, I will talk. I'm going to talk about the fast track deployment that's offered by Microsoft and the fast track service is designed to help business stakeholders and IT team. This is the introduction of the fast track. So the fast track benefits and answer key questions, including what purpose are eligible. What purchases are eligible, how to get help, what can I expect of fast track, what obligations do I have, how does the engagement work, what about data migration too. So to facilitate this, it's broken into 4 sections, as you see in the slide. The eligibility, the licensing, it's talk about the license, so you need to be eligible to use the fast track service. The second one, the process and expectation, products and capabilities, and the data migration. So eligibility, it's to understand if you purchase is eligible for fast track assistance and identify the Microsoft 365 service powered by fast track specialists. So you must purchase at least 150 license per tenant from one of the plans to be eligible for fast track. It's the Microsoft limitation here, and it's Microsoft 365, Office 365. The product that you require to purchase is should be a part of this section: the Microsoft 365, Office 365, Enterprise Mobility and Security, and Windows 10 or 11. So you need to purchase at least 150 license. So for the process and expectation, learn how to engage fast track for assistant, get an overview of how that assistant is provided, receive tips for a successful experience, and understand key responsibility of both fast track and your company. It contains some meeting, workshop, and for better engagement. The product and capabilities, based on your current setup, Microsoft engineers work with you to create a remediation plan that brings your source environment up to minimum requirement for successful onboarding. Fast track also provides guidance to help you first with core capability and then with onboarding each eligible service. So The service should be the general service, security and compliance, Office 365, employee experience, enterprise mobility, Azure Virtual Desktop, apps, Azure, Microsoft Edge, and Windows 365 Enterprise as well. For the data migration, understanding the type of the data that FastTrack will migrate into your Microsoft 365 environment will be covered here in this section. FastTrack can help you migrate mail and file data in your source environment to Microsoft 365, Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive for business. So also Microsoft has a limitation here for tenant with 150 to 499 license. Microsoft only provides the migration guidance. So you are responsible for performing the data migration. For the tenant with 500 or more license, FastTrack provide migration guidance, and Microsoft also will help you with the migration service and will do the migration service for you. After you have determined which method you want to deploy M365 or Microsoft 365 in your organization, now we will check what steps we have to take to become operational. So to deploy Microsoft 365 on your own after completing your planning, these are the recommended steps. So we suppose that we will you have it's your choice that you want to outsource this service with the Microsoft as a FastTrack in the FastTrack service, or you want to do it yourself, or you want to get Microsoft partners to help you on this journey. So if you want to do it on your own, so there are some steps here, and we will demonstrate it how you can configure each steps and in this webinar. So set up your network. The first step, set up your domain and the network. In this step, you need to add internet domain and optimizing the network performance for your on-premises user. Set up your identities, implement security, deploy client software, set up mobile device management, configure service and applications, train your user. So for the setup your identities, in this step, you need to connect your on-premise Active Directory domain if you want to with the Microsoft Azure Active Directory and Microsoft 365 subscription. So it should be a cloud only or hybrid as your choice. So this step we will cover the setup, the identities, and the Active Directory connections. So the implement security in this step, we will configure and roll out basic and enhanced security, threat, and information protection. Sorry, for your tenant. The deploy client software. Every Microsoft 365 client license include license for Microsoft 365 app, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other for enterprise. So you need to deploy this software for your client and activate license for each users in your organization. Set up mobile device management. So the Microsoft 365 Enterprise include mobile device management capabilities that help you secure and manage your users' mobile device. In the configure service and application step, we will migrate your data and on-prem products to M365, such as Exchange, SharePoint, Teams, and configure service for you, or you can do it by yourself. It's a common steps that we use in our several projects, and so many projects that we help the organization to migrate to the M365. And the last step is to train your user. So we will help your user get the most out of Microsoft 365 quickly with standard and fast track training course. So here now we have demo for you. We have several demo today for you. They are amazing demo. I hope you like this demo, and the topic that we will cover in the demo: how to start using the M365 tenant and Azure AD, Exchange, security compliance, SharePoint, MS Form, and create a simple survey with integration with Power Automate, MS Teams. Introduction to Power Automate and a simple demo of approval workflow, introduction to Power Apps, and create a quick Power Apps based on SharePoint data. And the last one is the Power Automate AI feature to extract the document. So far, I have tried to provide explanation about how to implement Microsoft 365 and its deployment methods. We will continue this session with online demo. So my colleague Rafai will continue with you. And Rafai?
Thank you. Thank you, Arash.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you, everyone.
My presentation
yeah,
here.
I will.
You've got center stage, Rafe.
Thank you. So I will share my screen, and if Tamara or Arash, if I'm close to time, please do let me know when I need to wrap up. Thank you. So entire screen. Okay. So can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. So today's demos, what we have configured is to be able to show you guys how easy it actually is to get set up and started. I will start from what is called the admin center. That is the central location for all the services in Microsoft 365 that you need to manage. The admin center is managed by a Microsoft role, right, who's called a global administrator. So to access that, we have to go to admin.microsoft.com. It's already open, but I'll just do it again. And while it's loading, okay, it's loaded. I'll give you a brief overview of how this panel is organized. And I'll give it from a perspective of people. So it is like, because this is very deep dive kind of thing too. So I'll give it from a perspective so people can actually see how easy and nice this interface is. So once you land at the admin center, you on the left side, you have users, you have teams and groups, billing, the setup, and then you have what's called all the different admin centers available to you as a global administrator. So we can see security, compliance, endpoint, Azure AD, Exchange, SharePoint, Teams. I'll start with how a basic setup would look like usually after you have acquired a tenant. So usually what would happen is after you acquire a tenant, you would go into users and you would add a new user. Let's say you're onboarding a new user, you would go to add a new user. This isn't the case if this is a cloud only implementation. If you have an on-premises system, and you are migrating to the cloud, then the process will be a little different because you will be importing these accounts from what's called the Active Directory on your network. But over here, basically, because I cannot replicate that process, so what I'm going to show you is how to create a user here. But this part would usually be handled seamlessly if the ADFS services are set up. So here you would add the basics, you would assign the product licenses, and there's some settings, and you would finish it up. Uh, this is my developer tenant. As you can see, I have so many accounts here already. Once all the accounts are imported, either via Active Directory import or creating locally here in the cloud interface, the second part usually is for them to be assigned licenses. So assuming this person I just added right now, if I click on that name, I just didn't add the user right now because that's like everybody knows like what a form looks like, right? So I just want to save time and get to the meat of the details here. Uh, and here, if you click on a user, you would see all the essential details that you need for the user are available here for us to be able to interact with it. So if I go into the licenses part of this, so this would actually show you all the different licenses that have been purchased for the tenant and available to be assigned to a user. And as you can see, this person is assigned a developer license, doesn't have a Power Apps, does have a Power Automate. Maybe I will do this because I might need it in the demo later. So I just gave this person Power App licenses as well. Now let's move on to the other things that we can do here. You can see that how easy it is for password reset. You can actually reset passwords over here very easily. You can see the devices assigned to the user. You can manage their mail and OneDrive. After you have set up the users, assign them the licenses and assign them the roles available to that user, uh, the next step would then usually be to uh, also check in what's called Azure Active Directory. So I will open that right now. If I had it open, no. So in order to open this, I will go into Azure Active Directory here. So you can think of Azure Active Directory as the cloud implementation of the on-premises network directory, although it is different in some cases to account for the fact that this is running entirely on the cloud. But the overall concept of this is the same. So as you can see, if I go into Azure Active Directory, I have my admin panel over here. I can see all the users here. This is where server admins would usually go to do. So let me open up one user. Let's say if I open this user here, and you can see how in a one screen, I can see when this person was created, when the user account was created. I can see their audit logs. I can see their sign-ins. I can see their assigned roles, the administrative units, groups. Uh, so you can pretty much manage all the different aspects of that identity that belongs to a user in Azure Active Directory. And again, the concept is it is also easy for people who might have managed Active Directory on premises or even worked with it. They would know like even to find a user is sometimes takes a few clicks, 3, 4 clicks before you can actually do simple operations like even reset a password at times. So this one is all interface. It gives you an audit log when the user tried to sign in, what IP address they used. One of the other things over here is which is used often, and people and organizations like to use it to secure their data from a data security perspective is if I go into the overview again, what's called conditional policies. So for each user, you can implement conditional policies, which would allow you to do things like restrict based on the user's location. So you can say if a user is logging in from outside of Canada, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. So that is what you can do very easily within conditional policies. And just cannot find it here. I think they changed the interface a little bit, but someplace here where you can do the conditional policy setup for every user. Once this is done, so this is basically your user interface to manage all the users. Let's say you get a call, hey, my password doesn't work, and you need to troubleshoot that. This is where you would actually go. Um, After the Azure Active Directory, the other things to know about this is obviously I'll just run down to the portal a little bit. You can see the billing. I don't think we need to get into that. That's unless somebody has a question. There's support options here where you can contact Microsoft if you have an issue. If you have elevated license with Microsoft, the support might be free or there might be different tiers you might have available to you depending on what kind of licenses you have available. Um, there are different reports available that the executives can ask the system admins to run for them, and it will be available here. Uh, Now I'll move on to the other aspects of this, the admin center here. One of the important things that organizations usually like doing is implementing data loss prevention policies. So that is easily done and implemented using Microsoft Compliance Center. So if I go into the Compliance Center, Admin Center, so you can see this is a wholesome area where you have different kinds of protections and ways to secure your organizational data. You can secure them based on different policies. You have data loss prevention that I will demo after this. You can set up e-discovery cases. You can manage the entire data lifecycle. We have information protection, information barriers. There's a lot here that can be done to protect the data. But usually when organizations start, they will take it one step at a time. And usually what I've seen is this like to start with what's called a data loss prevention. Uh, with Microsoft 365, you can either define your own data loss prevention policy, but Microsoft also provides certain built-in policies that might be related to certain legislation that is applicable in your jurisdiction. For example, Canada has a Personal Data Act that is already implemented here. So if we want to implement that, we can and create. So you can see you can actually start with a template or create a custom policy. So I can click here and I can say Canada, and I can choose a category. So usually organizations again would start with privacy because privacy matters to all kinds of data. And here you can see there's implementation of actually two Canada Personal Information Protection Act, which is federal legislation, I think, and Canada Personally Identifiable Information Data. So if I choose this and I click next, so this then gives you a little bit description of what this is. It says helps for British Columbia, including data. So this is BC specific legislation. So I guess this is a provincial law. And if I do a next, now the next thing you would have to identify which service should this policy apply on. Should it be on an email? Should it be on a SharePoint site, the list items and the documents that you have? Should it be on OneDrive, team chats, and other on-premises repositories? I'll close this for now and click next. Now in this, you actually can look at the settings that policy is applying to. So this is giving it to you in a nutshell that you can actually review and customize for Canada passport number, social insurance number, and other personally identifiable information. And here, if okay, I need to go back and I need to also show you that okay, this is good enough. Now let's say you want to also implement a policy that is basically derivative of all of this, but you also want to enforce something that is a company policy. So if you click on create or customize advanced DLP rules and click next, this gives you an opportunity to actually create your own rule specific to your own organization as well. So if I create rule, I can say a test rule. Here I can say add a condition, and I can say content contains. And if I say content contains a credit card number, okay, group name, and group operator would be all of these. And then I can say sensitive info types. And let's say I want to enforce this on maybe credit card numbers as an example, right? So I can go here, I can add that, and this would add it. And what this means is that how restrictive you really want it to be. So if you choose low confidence, there's some chance that some numbers might not be catchable. You know, Visa and MasterCard actually have those 16 digits, each digit or group of digits actually stand for something. So based on that, you can usually you would choose high uh, confidence or some other depending on you. So and then you can say save, and this will actually then be implemented across the locations that we had selected in the previous step. That is any email sent out, any Teams message, even if a document on Microsoft document library, it's going to catch that. And then I would click next. Then it says policy mode. It allows you to actually test it out rather than just, flat out push it across the organization, which is turn it on right away or keep it off. You can keep it off if you want to review it before implementing it. And here we do a submit. So data loss, so all these policies work in the sense that once you activate them, it takes a while for all the data, for them to be applied across all the data. So keep that in mind that a policy you set up right now, effective right now, it could take some time before that policy is actually applied to all the different services and the data within those services. Uh, and this is usually one of the first key steps that I've seen organizations doing, especially when it comes to Outlook mail messages, data loss prevention. Then we have the other admin centers that we have is Exchange, which is usually one of the first things that organizations would do is to migrate their mailboxes from on-premises over to Exchange Online. Uh, and this actually, this interface allows you to work with the Exchange admin
Sorry,
interface. It
Rafai,
is,
2 minutes.
yeah.
Sorry, Rafai, 2 minutes left.
Okay. Okay. So now I'll skip over. Arash, am I coming back, or is this would this be?
Yeah,
Yeah, you'll have another chance.
Okay. So maybe I'll add that 2 minutes later because I don't want to rush it. And Arash, you can take it back for now, and then I'll continue from here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So there are so many products that we need to demo today, but we will have a quick review of each product to give you a big picture of the Microsoft products inside the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. So let me continue with the SharePoint demo here. Okay. So I will continue with the SharePoint demo right now. So the SharePoint, the Microsoft SharePoint is actually it's a CMS. It's a content management system with the enterprise approach for the organization, and you can use the SharePoint as a great tools for the collaboration between the teams and the business in your organization. So the SharePoint also is popular in the world, and the 90% of Fortune 500 are using the SharePoint as a collaboration tools, and it's a strategic product for Microsoft. And as you can see here, the SharePoint start with some sites. As this is the communication sites, and you can you can create your intranet portal, and this is the home page of the communication site. You have several component here. You can easily edit the page and add some section here. You can edit each web part or component. You can use the built-in Microsoft SharePoint web parts here, and you can add and use each web parts on your page. Then you can save and republish the content. So this is the communication sites of SharePoint. So there are also the team sites for the team collaboration, and you can also share content with your team. You can put news here. You can see your activity or the team activities here. The SharePoint main concept is about the documents and the records. So if you want to use SharePoint as a document management, or you need to save and also manage your documents, so you can create some document library from here, and a document library will help you to organize, manage, and your documents. So we have several options here to create folders for everything you want to categorize or save items in the SharePoint document library. You can easily use the Office Online to create Word, Excel, PowerPoint document on demand here, and it will save automatically in your library, as you can see here. There are also some metadata for each files or each document or content that you put in the document library. For example, the modify date, the modify by. You can also manage the columns, or you can create a column as you want here. For example, I can create a department column. You have several column type here: choice, date, time, number, and the image, lookup. So for example, I'm going to choose the choice column type. So I can define the different type of the choice items here. Then it will be added to the to your library. Let me refresh the library here. Then I can input the value for the new column that I created here. So it will be saved automatically, as you can see here. So the next type of data, this is the libraries that you in the SharePoint, you can use the library to store and manage the documents, content. The content means the Office files, the PDF files, the video, audio, pages, everything. We said that we call this content. So we have also list. The list is responsible for storing record, and for example, I have a test scores list here. The list is similar to a table. It's similar to an Access table or the SQL Server table, and you can also define your and enter the a new record from here. For example, the student name and the subject, the test name, source, and every you can also enter every column the value here. So as you can see here, this is the SharePoint environment, and you have some more tools and capabilities to manage the content, to manage your data. It's great for the unstructured data. The SharePoint is based on the is provided by Microsoft for unstructured data. You have also the search capabilities here. This is a great search feature in the SharePoint. The engine of the SharePoint search is based on the Bing search engine. For example, I'm looking for a document with the 66. Let me. Yeah, it will crawl everything in your SharePoint site, and it will classify the result, as you can see here, for the file sites, news, images. So it's a great feature also in the SharePoint. So this is the quick review of the SharePoint. So the SharePoint is a great tool for team collaboration, and also for the intranet portal as a entrance of your organization for employees. Also, you can empower productivity and also the employee productivity by using the SharePoint as a great communication tool. So let's continue with the other with another Microsoft 365 tools. It's a Microsoft Forms. As you can see here, if I log into my if I log into my Microsoft 365 tenant, there are several products here. As I explained, the SharePoint is one of them, and the other one is the form. So you can easily create every form, and for example, the survey. So let's get started with a simple form, and I will let you know how you can create a flow behind this form, and you can also send a notification email to the responsible person in the organization for approval, or for checking or getting the notification for each form filled by the users in the organization. So, for example, I want to create an unpaid leave form or application here. So it suggests this the predefined or pre-built column to me, so I can use the full name, for example, and the work email address. Then this is the full name, work email address. I can also add another type of column here. For example, I can I will add the amount for the leave payment. Also, I can also add the date, the description, and then the date. So it's a date time field, as you can see here. So if it's completed, then it will automatically save by the MS form. So I can click on the preview, as you can see here. This is the form. I can also use some pre-built background or theme that you can see here. So after I created my form here, I'm going to create a flow to send a notification to, or for example, HR team to get this form, submitted form result. So we have a Power Automate here. This is another Microsoft 365 product. It's part of the Power Platform solutions that's provided by Microsoft. So I'm going to create a new flow here. It's as you can see here, there are several type of flow that I can create in the Power Automate, but there are pre-built template here, so I can search for the form. And as you can see here, there is a template to send an email to responder when response submitted in the Microsoft form. So I have an option to use this pre-built template, or I can create it the workflow from scratch. So I'm going to use this template. So it's created this actions by default for me. So I haven't. I can add a new action here, and there are more than 800 action and connection in the Power Automate. So you can use you can use the new action from this huge list. So the action starts when a new response is submitted. This flow starts with the unpaid leave form that I created. So the get response detail from the unpaid leave form, and this is the second action that will get the data of the form and the result, and will save the data in this variable. This is a response ID. So we have a condition here. If the response if the responder is not equal to anonymous, that's mean it's a part of the organization user. So if yes, it will goes here, and then it will send a notification to responder email. So I can change it by anyone that I want. So I will delete this condition right now. So I use the simple action here to Arash as a, for example, as a HR manager. So let me save the flow. I can also rename the flow name, workflow name from here. So I leave it as is, as it is. Let me go. So okay. So the flow is standby and listen to the form that will submit through the Microsoft form. So if I come here, for example, full name, I fill the form, and its description, it was for blah blah blah. It's the test. It's the test description and the date. I forget to change the title of the date. So I submitted the form here. So as you can see here, the flow start triggered by the submitted form. And as you can see,
Just a second, Arash. Just a second, Arash. Patrick, I see you have a question. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yes, Tamara, thank you. Thank you. Arash, I just wanted to ask, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. I just wanted to ask a question about the form. When you were creating the form, I see at the top of the screen, you had if you could just go back to where you were creating the form, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Yeah, I see you had computer highlighted. Does this mean that you have to create a separate form for desktop and a separate one for mobile, or the same form? Okay.
Arash, can you show the preview again, but show the preview, just hit the preview and show the mobile? It automatically adjusts to the device.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
Arash, you've got about 2 more minutes.
Okay. So let's, as you can see here, it's completed successfully. Let me open my Outlook here. And as you can see here, I got an email. Microsoft form response has been submitted by someone. This is the detail of the body of the message that I created here. So I can also modify the body of the email. For example, I can put some information about the form, from the form, full name, work email address, amount, so I can add other information that's submitted by user to the form, so I can use it here in the body of email. So this is a quick demo of the Power Automate and the MS form. So the last one is the Microsoft Teams. So let's quick review the Microsoft Teams here. The Microsoft Teams is a great tools product for the communication in the organization. So you can create, you can have a chat. So this is my dev environment team. So I don't have any chat here, but let me show you. Here, yeah, this is my Spot teams. We have several teams here. We have chat. We have more. There are also 100 apps here. You can add some app here to the teams. You can also book some meeting here in the calendar. So this calendar is also sync with your Outlook calendar. So you can make some call here. You can share some files with your colleague and other users in your organization. And also, yeah, it's Microsoft Team. It seems that I don't have enough time for this. So if I have more time, I will show you more about the teams in the next part. So Rafa, you can continue your demo.
Yeah, and Patrick, go ahead. I'm going to get Rafa on the screen, but go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, sorry, quick one again. I know you didn't talk much about the Microsoft Teams, but I wanted to ask, for the whiteboard on Microsoft Teams, I am often skeptical to use it because I worry about, I'm not sure how to save my my information after my session. So does this get saved by default? How do I save after a workshop session, for example, using the whiteboard? How do I save the information when everyone leaves to make sure the information don't disappear?
Typically,
Or
typically the whiteboard information gets saved in the chat history for the meeting. So if you want to retrieve it, you would go back to the chat history in that Microsoft Teams chat, and there'll be a tab for whiteboard, and that's where you'll see that whiteboard information.
oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
We will be doing a future webinar on just Microsoft Teams, where we can really cover in on some of that, and we'll make sure you hear about it. Rafe, you can go ahead and share your screen.
Thank you, Tamara. So I will continue from where I left off. Basically, I had a question before someone, Ian, wanted to see external external identities. So I'll quickly show that and then I'll proceed with the demo. So external identities in Azure AD are available here. So it allows you to configure a whole bunch of properties for external identities, such as user flows. For the collaboration specifically, you will go here and you can choose guest user access, and you can apply restrictions, have the same access as members, limited access to properties and memberships, and then you can also specify invite settings that you have. But remember, this is at the tenant level. On the SharePoint level, you have a further opportunity to control it at the SharePoint level. And then you have a further opportunity to control even at the site level. But the tenant permissions are like, overall encompassing. I hope that answers the question, but external identities is a different topic. It's a very big topic, and we can hopefully have another webinar, which is totally focused on this. For this one demo that now I will do is I'll take you through a whole end-to-end process of service in SharePoint. Basically, SharePoint is something that organizations start using right away as soon as the Exchange is set up and they have emails in the cloud. Even in the cloud, SharePoint is with Teams is usually one of the first services that people start to use. In this case, I will show you how easy and fast it is to actually set up a SharePoint site. So if you go into the SharePoint Admin Center, which I clicked from the main Admin Center, you have a bunch of settings here for SharePoint. And if you click on Active Sites, you can create a site here, which is created at the admin level. You can choose either to create a team site, which is backed by what's called an Microsoft 365 group, which is a collection of services that offers you other integrations like SharePoint and Teams and Outlook and Planner and other services connected. Or you can have a communication site, which is basically, as it says, like a portal where people visit for more information. So in this case, if I create a new site which is backed by a Teams, I can say where our demo site, it asks me for a group email address. The group email address is basically a Microsoft Teams that will be created after I create the site, and I can say who the group owner is. I can say my name here, and then next. At this stage, it gives me an option to actually add members. I can add members here from the organization, and I can finish. So you saw this process. If people remember who worked on premises, they would know that this process is so much easier, so much faster, that I just managed to create a new site collection basically. And it created me a site. So if I click on this, and there it is. I have a site which is connected to a Microsoft 365 group. And what that means is that I also have a Microsoft Teams location. Uh, okay, I didn't select that option, so I can add this to Microsoft Teams. But now what would happen basically is that I have a site for maybe, let's say, a department or a team, and they also have a Microsoft Teams where they will communicate with. Once this is done, usually the other stuff is you will go and add members from site permissions. And I will add some more members here with with the okay, let's edit functionality, and I will say add members to group, and I will add these two members. This click add members here, and I need to add another one from my demo. This guy's name is Diego. Uh, why is Okay, we'll come back to this. The other way to do this is if I go into site permissions, advanced permission settings. Sometimes it doesn't resolve on time. It could be my connection. I go into the webinar demo members, which is, you can see there are 3 different groups. So here you can see it created a Azure Active Directory group and called it members. So now what happened behind the scenes is this Microsoft 365 group was actually created uh, in Azure Active Directory. So if I go into Azure Active Directory, and I can then add the members. One person I already added, and the other person I can add right here. So then they would be added. And this is the best practice. The other thing I can also do is add a user here directly, but I don't want to do that. So now if I go into groups, all groups, you can see groups, and I can search and I can say webinar. So you can see that this was created from SharePoint into Azure Active Directory. If I click on this, and I can add members. So you can see this person is already added, and then the other person I can add that I want to add is Diego. Where is that option? Why do I not see save? Okay, select. So this person is now added. If I refresh, he should be there. It's not here. Okay. Okay, there must be something. So when you click on this, it actually shows me this person as a member. Right now, it's why it's not doing it.
It is doing it. You're looking at direct members. Change the tab, close that, and the next
All
tab.
members. So sorry.
And then you might have a filter in place. So there, when you look at
There it
all
is. There it
members,
is. Yes. Yes. So they actually keep on changing it so much, and I didn't notice it was at all members. Thank you, Tamara, for pointing it out.
no problem.
So I have these 3 users now. One is an admin, and these 2 are members. So now I can show you a quick flow, how easy it would be to actually have the site up and running. So let's say now we have these 3 people who need to collaborate on some project. Um, let's say you want you want to upload a document. Usually one of the things that people start using right away is what's called approvals, which allow you to set up very easy approvals in the process. So if I upload a document, if I create a new document, let's say I create a Word document. And there's some text so that it saves. So let's say now I want to route it for approval. I uploaded it. I want to send it to the person's manager. So let's see how easy and fast it is to actually set up that process in the Microsoft 365. So I will go into what's called make.powerautomate.com. and I can say create. Now, the good thing about this services is that you can either start with a template or you can build your own. So maybe I'll start with the template. I was planning on building my own, but this will actually give you an idea how it will be much faster with the templates that are available. So if I type in approval, so you can see we have so many templates available for us to choose from, like start an approval process and send an email on start dynamics, send form responses, start an approval for a new process. But what we don't see in a glance is just simple approval. So send approval email. Okay, so I will not waste time in finding the right one. I'll go into this one and I'll say build your own. And I will choose, now it says it actually guides you. So the process is you have to choose a trigger, which is basically an event on which point the flow happens. So in my case, in the demo, the flow should start when the document is uploaded. And then you have a bunch of actions that are associated that happen after that trigger is fired. And that is what's called a flow. So in this case, what I'll do is I will choose a skip to building your own flow, because those templates are good, but they keep on changing it. So now in this case, what I'll do is the first step is I have to choose a trigger, the event which will kick this off. And I will say when a new document is created and it starts, IntelliSense starts showing you what's available. And in this case, what I need is uh, when a file is created here, I can say this: when a file is created, I will choose the site. Doesn't show it, so I'll choose enter custom value, which is from the site here, and the list name that I need is documents. So now this is what my trigger is basically. So I'm saying now that when a file is created in this site, in this document library, uh, start doing this. In this case, I will type in now action name, which is approval. Uh, and we have three approval things: create approval, wait approval, start and wait for an approval. So I will choose this: start and wait for an approval. In the approval types, you basically have four. So everyone must approve, the first to respond, wait for all responses, or wait for one response. In this case, I will choose everyone must approve. And once you do that, you fill out the title in the approval, you fill out who it is going to be assigned to. Now, in this case, because I'm assigning it to the user's manager who's uploading it, so I need to add another action, which is Office 365 users. And there should be a manager here. See, so all the actions are like self-explanatory, right? So in this case, I can retrieve the user's manager, and now which user I need to retrieve, I can from that, when I click on this, you would see it automatically shows you some dynamic properties. And we can see this one is coming in when a file is created, and it has some properties. So in this case, I will say modified by user principal name or ID. So I will say created by, where is it? Created by email. Let's try with this, created by email. And once this is done, it's going to get me the user's manager. And I will, now when I click on this, I have the option to actually take a value that was given here in this step and assign it here. So making it more dynamic. And you can see in the assign to field is giving, it's now giving me properties from the get manager, and I need to assign it to the manager's email address or the user principal name, which is I can take from It should be here somewhere. Oh, did I miss it? Mm, or is it mail? Okay, it's called mail. And I can choose to say provide more details because this message is gonna go in an email. I can give an item link and I can do save. So I'll save it here for now. Uh, and then now once this is done, we need to do something with it, right? So what would happen is the flow would start until the manager approves or rejects. This stage would be stuck. Once this is done, you will click here, insert a condition, and if the condition, which is the outcome from the previous step again, is equal to approve, you would do something here. If the is not approved, then you would do something here. Let's just keep it here now and run it because in usually to save time, if yes, you would send out an email that says approved. If no, you would send out an email that and the action for that is also available here. I see I only have about, I think, 3 minutes, so I'll just try to rush it as much as I can and send an email, and you will configure a bunch of properties, but I'll delete that for now and run it and save. So now I will click test and it gives me two options, manually or automatically. I'll choose manually. Now, if I go into this and I say upload a new document, so this would be which document? Okay, I'll upload this. So now you see this thing is as soon as I uploaded the document, the flow run failed. Okay. Resource manager does not one of its cute properties. Okay, I think I know. So I have another account open that I never got to use here. So actually, I should have uploaded it from here. So from this is another tab that is opened under one of the other users in the tenant, Diego, and Diego will upload the document, and that's why it failed because I ran it as my main tenant admin account. And so if I upload another file again here, uh, and cannot upload any of them, upload this. And if I go back to the flow, oh, where is my flows? Open up the flow here. So you can see it also gives you a 28-day run history. And I think the other flow is taking a while to run because there's a flow time limit, and there can be up to a 5-minute delay for the flow to kick off. But as you saw, the flow did kick off, so you might have to wait. But so I'll come back to this. The other thing that I wanted to show was how easy it is to actually use Power Apps and customize forms. So if I go into site contents and open up a what's called a SharePoint list, I don't have one, so I will create one right now. And I can choose a blank list and I'll say test list, show inside navigation, yes. And Arash already showed you this part and details, but I will add another column for date and time, maybe, or multiple line person. And test person, and I'll save it, yes. So now when you click here, you might want, and if you click on a form, there might be a need that you want this form customized, and you probably maybe don't like how it looks like here. Uh, so the easy way to do it is if you click here, if you go into list settings, uh, and if you go into form settings, So it gives you an option that says customize in Power Apps. And if I click on customize in Power Apps, once it loads, you will see there's a lot of work would already have been done, already created behind the scenes by this process that says getting things ready. So all we really need to do is like very simple form implementations. We just go in and make a few changes, and usually form customizations can be done in as little as 4 hours. Obviously, depends on the complexity of the form and the features required in the app, but usually to make it nice and for people to be able to use in a new implementation, it would usually take no longer than 2 to 3 hours for any business user to actually get it up and running. So, setting it up for the first time takes a few minutes, so saving to Power Apps servers. And as you can see, it created me a form, which is here, and all the basic fields are here. And I can, if I need, I can say, okay, I need the background color to be blue. And it will automatically apply that. And based on that, I can continue to make changes, and I can then publish it. So you can see all the fields, all the data. Usually in custom, if you had to do custom forms before, you would have to write a lot of code. A lot of that has already been taken care of here, right? So now if once it publish, if I go back and did it finish publishing? I'm not sure. So if I refresh this page, is it? Oh, it opened here in the same one. Okay.
2 more minutes, Harash, or sorry, Rafe.
Okay. Yeah, I should be done in shortly. And so test list, and I'll just refresh it just to make sure that the changes have been propagated. And if I click new here, it doesn't show. Maybe it's still publishing. Maybe it hasn't refreshed, but you can see that the Power App here is all built in. I didn't really have to do much. I can add a button. I can make some few changes. Again, depending on what changes you need, you would actually be able to get this done within 2 3 hours. So let me see if this one ran. So yes, you can see the second instance ran, and if I open it up, it's still running. This is for the flow that I was showing that hadn't run before. So now you can see when a file is created, ran this error step, this errored out before. It says get manager. So it got the user's manager, which is this person here. And now it is waiting on the approval. So let's quickly have a look at the approval email. So this approval email would have been sent to this person. So let me switch over to HUD profile, which is open here. So this is Diego's manager. And if we go in, so you can see the approval request has come in, and it says your recent request has, this is from not today. Okay, it went into other. So it says, please review the document. Okay. So see the document which I uploaded, requested by this person, created here, approve or reject. Then I will approve this. If I need to enter some comments, I can do that. Usually when you're rejecting something, and once this is approved, let's just go and have a look at the last step in the flow. So you see your flow ran successfully, and the approval summary, the complete approval summary, along with the outcome has been posted. And in the condition, you can see that had I put in the yes condition or no condition, which I didn't put in to save time because I was running out of time, we could have just either sent an email or do additional tasks like create a task item or something like that. So hopefully this shows you guys that how easy it is to actually get up, set up running with the Microsoft 365 platform for team sites in the cloud. Thank you very much. Tamara, back to you.
Thank you so much, Rafe. Yeah, so definitely I'll be asking John to come in just a second to answer any questions and to provide some insights to everybody. John, I will bring you over.
Yeah. Thanks, Rafe, Arash, and Tamara. I think this has been a great session, and I appreciate everyone taking the time to join on this day. When it comes to next steps or taking a look at your own M365 SharePoint journey, at Spot Solutions, we definitely would like to be part of that process or help you out in any way. I know some of the people attending today are familiar with Spot Solutions, some aren't familiar with Spot Solutions. But be great if you wanted to reach out to us, feel free to do that. Info@Spot Solutions is a good way to connect with us. And selected just for this webinar group, we are going to offer 5 hours with our analysts to kind of take a look at your current environment and do a bit of an assessment. So take advantage of that. I think it'd be great. Everyone has different kind of layouts, different setups. As I said earlier, the journey is completely different for everybody, but with our experience and our expertise, we're happy to provide those 5 hours, connect with you with one of our analysts. So take advantage of that if you can. Again, it's at info@spotsolutions.com. And we'd be happy to engage with you on that. So I just want to mention that, Tamara. I don't know if there's anything else we wanted to
just
wrap
wanted
up
to
with.
suggest that we will be doing future webinars on more focused topics. So we will likely be coming out with webinars specifically to Microsoft Teams and other types of items. So keep taking a look and seeing what webinars we have on offer. Did anybody have any questions before we end the session? I know we're about 2 minutes before the end. Go ahead, Patrick.
Hi, Tamara. I just wanted to ask, actually, my background is business analyst, and I wanted to, I see that you have passed the stage of the roadmap on this, which would have appealed more to me, so that I can appreciate from the requirement perspective how to implement M365. So I was wondering, I was going to ask if you have the previous session recording somewhere one can access, and even this
Absolutely.
one to go back
Yeah,
to.
if you wanna, I've just put my email into the chat. Feel free to send me an email and I can provide you with access to the past webinars that
Okay.
we've completed.
All right, Tamara. Thank you.
Absolutely. Does anybody else have any other questions or need anything today?